Okay, first order of business is to act on the minutes from the, haven't been here since December 18th meeting. Did everyone get a chance to review the minutes? Questions, comments?
I'm noted as absent, but I was late.
But you weren't there for the vote.
Okay.
Was. So I clarified that. Brian had asked me to clarify that so I had changed that afterwards to say you were here, but not for the vote portion of it.
Okay.
Yes, it did. We did discuss that. So, all right, thank you. Yeah, because it's, I guess it would be hard for you to have made the Board of Ed.
Yeah, it's a pretty long report, too. I actually, for a brief moment, thought I had missed the meeting. I saw that, and then I saw I gave a report, so.
Okay, so no issues?
No.
Corrections? Okay, minutes are accepted. Input, email. So I don't know if everyone got a chance to read. There was one email that is not on the agenda. We're not going to do anything with it today, but from Sandy Hawkins, requesting a rule change as it relates to dogs, specifically dogs on the beach. She's requesting the dogs on the beach are only allowed from October 1st to March 31st. And she's requesting that during the other time period, April 1st to, September 30th, that the rule be changed so that dogs can be on the beach year-round from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. So I don't think the Rules Committee is currently still.
We haven't met since the summer, maybe even before that.
Okay.
So we did consider.
This is her. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jamie.
Go ahead.
This is her second request.
Okay.
She wasn't pleased with the discussion that took place the first go around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I am the biggest dog lover there is, but I don't know if I could support this rule. The problem is, when dogs run free, even parents of the dog who kind of keep a lookout for them, they may not see the dogs defecating on the beach, and even if there's no classes or people on 6 to 8 a.m., people are out shortly afterwards, and it's not pleasant. There's
I noticed in the email too, she mentioned something about there's no dog parks. Is she aware of all the dog parks going in?
well, but there are none at this point.
point,
We're
correct.
working on that.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, if the Rules Committee is, I wouldn't get together for just this item, but
Okay.
you may want to bring it up again.
Sure.
Okay. Next up, James Feeney, on behalf of St. Patrick's Gaelic Football and Hurling Club, to be formally recognized as a resident youth and adult league activity pursuant to Section 36 of our rules. Is James Feeney here?
Yes, here.
Okay, I'll mention this to you, James, and this holds true for anyone else presenting. If you would, tell us your name and your address for the record.
Sure, James Feeney, 532 Jackson Avenue, Fairfield.
Tell us a little bit about your club.
Sure. Can I sit here?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, perfect.
You get that?
Thank you for the opportunity to talk about Gaelic football and hurling. St. Patrick's was founded in 2003. Our center of gravity is the Gaelic American Club, right here in town. And for insurance reasons, back in 2003, it was determined that St. Patrick's should be a separate legal entity from the Gaelic Club. So we field teams from under 8 all the way through under 18, and we have a men's team. And our membership comes from right here in the town of Fairfield. We're a member of the Gaelic Athletic Association, our worldwide governing body, the GAA. You can find more information on the GAA at gaa.ie. And we're ruled by the local governing body of that organization based out of New York, called the New York GAA. Field teams in Gaelic football, hurling, are our two primary sports. As I said, we have both children and a youth program. So that's an overview. If you have any questions about either the sports themselves
How many
or...
participants do you have?
We have about 20 children per age group. So about 8s, 10s, 12s, and 14s, give or take, around 20. And add the same number for adults.
And where are the teams located that you're competing against? Are they-
All in New York City.
You're-
So it's a tri-state, but we're governed by the New York GAA. So in Ireland, there are 32 counties. New York is considered a county, and at the adult level, they compete against the teams that come over from Ireland. We participate in both Gaelic Park, which is near Manhattan College. It's been around for over 100 years, and it's the center of gravity for our sport. That's where we go for our men's games. There's a place in Yonkers called Redmond Park where the youth play. There are about 30 youth teams, some from Fairlawn, New Jersey. New Haven has a team, St. Pat's here in Fairfield. There are a lot of teams in the Bronx, Rockland County, so all over the tri-state. But the games that we play are always in New York City. In the past, we've had some games up here, but that's on a one-off or an exception basis. By and large, the competitions are down there. The practices happen up here.
So in accordance with Section 36 of the Rules and Regulations, the primary stipulation is the residency rule, right? So by seeking recognition under this rule, you're stating that it's 100% resident
Yes.
in your program.
Yes.
Okay. And then just following up on that, so when in the summer you host university and graduate students in Ireland, and you say that they help with youth players and cultural, do they not participate in the men's leagues?
No, they're not allowed to.
Okay.
They're not allowed to. So what we do, we bring over a couple of students each year for our annual camp. So our camp for the last 15 years has been at Notre Dame High School. It's always the last week of June. This year, for the first time since the merger of Sacred Heart and Notre Dame, it's not going to be at Notre Dame. But we're looking at hopefully that Sacred Heart and them, they might allow us back in. But so we have an annual camp, and with the annual camp, we have all the kids from Fairfield come, and it's really an introduction to Gaelic games for those who are unaccustomed. Parents are looking, it's 9 to 3 o'clock every day, and I said, these are some of the coaches that come over and help. I take a week of vacation to run it. So I'm the camp director. It's a licensed youth camp under the state of Connecticut, under the Department of Health and Human Services, whatever it's called. But it's a licensed youth camp in the state of Connecticut. And those kids that come over only, they're university students, usually on a J-1 visa, and they just help for that week.
Okay, super. Chris, you had a question, and then if there's any other questions?
Yeah, Jim, where are your practices held?
So we have historically come here and gotten permits on a space available basis. And I think the rule changed fairly recently related to that so that they're much harder to come by. We've rented at Notre Dame High School. We've also trained in the past at Kennedy Stadium and the Sheehan Center in Bridgeport. So it's a patchwork quilt of wherever we can get a field. And it's getting increasingly more difficult, both not only here with the space available permits, but the merger of Sacred Heart and Notre Dame now meant there's two organizations that have to go to over there. Fairfield U has been kind enough to rent us fields there. Those fields are either $150 or $175 an hour. So last year we spent approximately, I'd say, just under $10,000 on field rental fees just to keep this thing going.
Any other questions?
Just what are your fundraisers, or is it all charging cost to be part of the program, or do you do fundraisers?
No, we do fundraisers. We've got an annual golf tournament that we host at Fairchild Wheeler Golf Course, which is the main fundraiser for the club. But then we do little things throughout the year, as well as charging registration fees. Last year, our budget was around $79,000.
Brian, does recognition as a resident, does that give them access to town fields, or?
Gives them access to securing, town fields and securing blanket permits for fields for the season.
Right.
So, yes. So that's a key element for a lot of these organizations, as opposed to waiting until everything is picked over and they have to come in and call like every other week. This allows them to, there's still a lot of the fields they wouldn't be able to secure, but they will be able to secure certain fields for each season. So, but the key element is the 100% residency rule.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Anthony, how doable is this for Galen?
I think it's doable. Just a matter of cutting fields from other people, right? I mean, but they've been able to get fields sporadically calling in, so there's pockets of field time, but now they'll be able to get it. It's just a balancing act for Galen, but she can handle it.
Okay.
I mentioned in the letter, but I should also mention in front of the committee that we are a nonprofit organization. We're a 501c3 organization pursuant to the Internal Revenue Code. We have no paid employees. We're all volunteer organization. Even the students that come over and help us during the summer, they're just doing it for the love of the sport. So we have no employees. We don't issue 1099s or anything like that.
I think we're good. If someone wants to make a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Ready to formalize?
No, motion to accept as requested. Okay, any further discussion? Anything from the public? Hearing none. Back to the commission. All those in favor? Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for your time tonight.
Okay, next up, John Calandrello, Director of Fairfield Half Marathon, requests permission to hold the 45th Fairfield Half Marathon on June 1st, along with the 5K and Little Stags the day before, May 31st.
Yep. John Calandrello, 50 Beverly Lane, Fairfield. That's my son Daniel.
We've met Daniel before.
Yeah. So I actually recognize a lot of faces here. So, the Fairfield Half Marathon, we're looking to run again this year, the weekend of May 31st and June 1st. Honestly, everything's going to be exactly the same as last year. Right now our numbers, we're 40, 50 people above where we were last year at this time. So we're expect to be very similar. Of course, you won't know until the very end. But even that, we'll be able to manage whatever happens. So.
And Anthony, the parking is always worked out okay?
Yeah, we haven't had any issues. I know we noticed the neighborhood and put up the signs. So.
Yep. The week before the race, or the races, we put up all the signage and everything. We do I still call it a code red, but it's called something else now.
Everbridge, yeah.
Yeah, Everbridge, thank you. We do that, so all the residents that are going to be on the race route know when there's going to be traffic. Traffic's always a problem, though. It is what it is. We are also, last year, we reintroduced using the train station, which we've secured with the parking authority, so the downtown train station, and we have buses that are going to bus people in, so that will help alleviate some of the parking issues.
That's the original
downtown near Archie Moore's. Yeah, no, not just the downtown.
Okay.
Yeah. And we'll have anywhere from 8 to 12 buses, just run a cycle, get people in and out. If the parking fills up, which usually on Sunday it does, if people park at the train station, we'll bus them in too, whether runners, just people coming to see the races, or or just people going to the beach, we'll even bus those people in too. Anybody shows up, it's a free ride to the beach.
And Anthony, we're still considering this just because of the magnitude of the event?
Yeah, because it's so large. Yep. Same. We treat it like carnival. Same.
Yeah, and at some point we may need to tighten up that rule so that there is some definition.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right, any other questions? Somebody?
How many people are running this year? Because I know you.
He's running for me.
Okay.
Okay, so. Okay, any further questions, comments? Anything from the public?
Incredible race.
Thank you. Back to the commission, all those in favor? Congratulations.
Thank you very much. One thing last year we actually donated over $100,000 to local charities. I should have put that in the beginning.
So, actually,
Yeah.
so you indicated, you guys have donated $500,000 to local charities, and additionally other nonprofit groups have used this to raise another $850,000. The $100,000, is that just from you?
That's just from us, the $100,000.
Okay. And do you know what?
I honestly I don't know at this point because that sort of it's sort of like cycles through, and they don't always. The other groups don't always tell us how much they've actually finished raising at the end. So we don't always have that number. I would suspect it would be somewhere in that ballpark. Because a lot of things sort of stay constant. But honestly, I don't have definite 100% numbers for you for that.
Okay. Good. Thank you very much. All right. Next up, we have a request from Adam Jacobson of the Pet Pantry to host the 4th annual Fairfield Dog Days free event on June 22nd of this year, 11 to 4 p.m., Town Hall Green. Is Adam here?
It's on the phone.
Oh.
Yeah, hi, Adam Jacob. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Oh, hi, how are you? Adam Jacobson, 241 Shetland Road, Fairfield, Connecticut. I'm the Executive Vice President of Pet Pantry. This will be the 4th annual Fairfield Dog Days. The event is slated to take place on Sunday, June 22nd from 11 to 4 p.m. at the Old Town Hall. Proceeds for the event will benefit Fairfield Chamber of Commerce, Adopt a Dog, and Animal Rescue Organization, Operation Hope, and Wolfgang & Co. It is a dog family-centric event that's free to the public.
And so this is the 4th annual, and the 1st through 3rd have all been well received?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. Get this very quickly. So we have a motion from Chris.
I will second.
Jamie.
Yeah, for the dogs.
Any further questions or comments? Anything from the public?
Can non-dog owners with kids who want dogs come?
Certainly.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You may leave with a dog.
Do you really want to do that?
You may leave with a couple dogs.
That's actually fact.
Well, maybe that's what they should do. They should have an adopt a dog section there.
There are dogs for adoption there that people can meet and greet. You can't take them home that day. There is vetting there, but there are adoptable dogs that will be available for the public.
And ma'am, your name's her who connected right now. Okay, back to the commission. All those in favor? All right, Adam, you're all set.
Oh, thank you kindly. Have a lovely evening. Appreciate it.
You too.
Rough.
Okay. Next up, we have a request from Ebby, hopefully I'm getting that right, Ebby Bassey to hold a Fairfield Down Syndrome Awareness Month celebration on October 4th with the rain date of the 5th at Veterans Park, or according to your letter, you're pretty flexible with that, and the dates from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. celebration would consist of speakers, vendors, games, etc. is Evie here.
Evie, yes,
Evie,
I
Evie.
am. Hi.
Adam, it's Evie. Oh, is he gone?
Look for me. I'm at 141 Prince Street, Fairfield, Connecticut. So I'm not here by myself. I have support. That's Mrs. Neely, Hayden, and Mr. Anthony Fitzgerald. We are all parents of children with Down syndrome. And the National Down Syndrome Society has a celebration called the Buddy Walk, all the way in New York, Central Park, usually first week in September. The Down Syndrome Association of Connecticut hosts its walk end of last Saturday of September, all the way in Hartford. Now, both of those two places are a bit of a task for parents to get to, 2 hours going up the other way, more than 2 hours going the other way. There are 92 of us families here in Fairfield that do have children or people we love with Down syndrome. And October is Down Syndrome Awareness Month. And I feel that we should, in this town, honor those people that are fully contributing members of this community. They're part of the school system. They're business owners. And I think that we are all worthy of being celebrated. And I think that it would be a good thing for this town to acknowledge the presence of our kids and the contributing adults in this community that do have Down syndrome. Wolfgang, as you've mentioned, is that's a business owned by a mother that has a child with Down syndrome, and we go to support them. However, I also wanted to bring people like her to the forefront of the community so people know that there are people who run businesses that hire people with Down syndrome and to support them, to support those businesses, because those businesses keep our kids employed. As you may know, by the time our kids age out at 18, there's really no resources for that. So I want people to know that young adults with Down syndrome are in this community. They're employable. We also want the community to meet us, to know who we are. A lot of times, if I'm in the park, sometimes people stare at my kid like she's got two heads. Now, maybe if you come out and play, your kid plays with my kid, we all get to know each other, then we don't have those uncomfortable and awkward incidences. So basically, I'm just asking the town to allow us to celebrate our fantastic kids, our fantastic young adults, and that's really it.
That's wonderful. Thank you. And hopefully next year, if you come back, you'll bring a new shirt with you to help you with the presentation.
Yeah.
So John and Charlie.
My cute addition. And they'll bring their new dog.
And the new dog.
So I'm going to just take a moment to ask a couple questions of our director. As in the letter, there's a number of dates that could work for them with, I guess, October 4th preferred with a rain date of October 5th.
Yes.
And they also, Evie also mentions, could be Veterans, Sturgis, Ward, Sullivan, Pepperwoods, or, as you indicate, you're not familiar with all of them.
Yes.
I assume those dates are very flexible for us. So the question is, what would you suggest?
Yeah. The October 4th with the rain date of the 5th at Veterans Park from 10 to 2.
I think Veterans Park would be perfect.
Yep.
Yes. I think there's a playground there. There's also a bathroom there, and I don't know if there's electricity, but
there is.
yeah, it's okay.
And easy access rather than compared to some of these places. Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, for Anthony, do they have to run this by the police department?
No, I think we're okay without it.
Just a couple of questions. In the letter you referenced understanding you'd need insurance, but then there looked like there was paperwork in the packet. Was that insurance or?
Just outline that.
Yeah, it was. I don't have it at present, but of course I know that it's required, and we'll ensure that it is in place.
And then just wondering, because obviously the event sounds amazing, but what would you do for funds?
Well, at the moment, I am going to lean on the kindness of all of my good friends that have more money than I do. And some of the local folks in the community are offering to give us things like for the raffle ticket. I want to run raffle tickets, so I already have Geronimo has given me a prize. Just Salad has given me a prize, so that'll be sort of the way that we'll fundraise for that. For now, I am going to be bearing a bulk of the cost. I'm also trying to put a 501c3 in place so that I can get donation where people can write it off. Because now I'll probably get a little bit, but I know that if I have this in place, I'll get a little bit more from the community.
And since obviously you're in the schools, would this be something that maybe you would go and present to SEPTA, the special
I
ed
am
PTA,
planning on-
and like partner
yes.
with them, because I'm sure they could be
Yes,
a
I've
pretty
spoken
good resource.
I've spoken to the president. She's interested, and I'm going to attend the next meeting and present this to them. National Down Syndrome Society is also aware of it, and they would like to have a table there. I'm going to also approach Down Syndrome Association of Connecticut. Actually, they're doing a webinar with my book, Anushka's Extraordinary Hero. It's a book that has 22 amazing people in it that happen to have Down syndrome, but they accomplish so much. So I'm going to approach them about working together, but I also want them to have a vendor table at the event because they're young parents that have just had kids and don't know where to go. So this is part of that. It's part of helping those young parents and giving them the resources and the guidance, because it can be a very lonely world, but they will get to meet parents like us who have succeeded in raising amazing children and know that there's no darkness here. It's all light. There's light at the end of the tunnel for us as parents with children with Down syndrome.
How will you advertise this, or how will you notify people who would like to contribute?
So my vendor letters are already written and ready to go out, but couldn't be sent out until I know that I have an event.
Public to the public, 'cause the public will want to donate as well.
Yes. So basically, social media. It's going to be social media. I'm going to post the event at all the usual public places like Park City, Harborview, like places where eyeballs will catch it. Yeah. Romanacci, the restaurant that used to be Fairfield Social, the owner told me if I had finished, she's going to put it up. And also, he's going to bring his little old-fashioned Galateria truck to the event for the kids.
Yeah, another suggestion would be the First Selectman's newsletter to the
Yes,
town.
and I'm hoping to approach the First Select Woman because she has
First Select Man.
Sorry, First
Well,
Select
no,
Well,
the select woman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
has the
yeah.
child, Christy, she has the
Yeah.
child with Down syndrome, so
Yeah.
I am hoping she'll be one of my speakers.
Any other questions?
Great event.
I'm going to make an enthusiastic motion.
I just maybe just one last. Did you, given this your first time, do you have enough help getting this organized? Do you
I
feel
believe
like
I do. I have two behind me.
Yeah.
And there are many more.
it's more the
I think that
experience of putting all, what do you
Yeah.
have to do to put this all together the
Yes.
first time, and wondering.
I spoke to Michelle Stern at Operation Hope, where I also volunteer. She actually is going to put me in touch with someone who has experience. So again, I couldn't really set anything in motion till I know that I actually have an event to do.
Yeah. Great.
Okay. I will make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second.
Good. Any further questions, comments? Anything from the public? You support it? Support it. All right, back to the commission. All those in favor? All right, congratulations.
Thank you so very much.
We will be there.
I would love to connect with you,
Yes, sir.
like afterward. We're building an adaptive recreation center at the old pilot house on Grasmere
Oh,
that hopefully by this time next year will actually be fully built.
oh,
But
that would be
it would be
fantastic.
so perfect to move that there.
Okay.
It's there next year if it's built.
Okay. GAC is actually going to be there. They're going to bring little obstacle courses for the kids because they have an adaptive
Yeah.
camp and all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Thank you so much. Really
Welcome.
appreciate your time. Have a good evening.
Okay. Next up,
Oh, thank you so much.
Next up, we have a request from Andrew Kaplan of Fairfield University to hold the FUSA Senate Polar Plunge on Sunday the 2nd with a backup date of March 23rd.
Yes. Hello. My name is Andrew Kaplan. I live at 118 Ferez Street, Veres. Thank you all for taking the time to speak with me. Yes. So I represent the Fairfield University Student Association Senate. I'm our committee chair for our Committee on Safety and Community Relations. One of the initiatives that we're currently pursuing at school is to purchase and implement additional AED units around our residence halls and high traffic areas because there's currently a lack of them in some places. They are pretty costly, the units, so we're going about fundraising as much as we can, and one of the things that we're looking at doing is a polar plunge. So I am here today to ask for use of, hopefully, Penfield Beach. I have an updated, what's it called, proposal and then like kind of map where I drew stuff out so I can have it around. Let me take one. Sorry.
Yeah.
There's more. Oh, sorry. Yes, people in the back. Oh, there.
Thank you. What's status of Penfield?
So we're actually we're shooting for March 23rd now, not the second date because 2 weeks is
Didn't you last year keep bumping it? Did you ever do it last year?
So the representatives from Fairfield last year weren't through our organization. I think it was like a senior event type of deal.
Yeah, but then it got postponed, and then it was warm, and so it was.
Yeah, I think they turned it into a
plunge.
swim.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I haven't really been in contact with them. I just heard it because they graduated, but I heard through them that, yeah, I got pushed a whole bunch. We're trying to make sure it's at least a little cold for put the polar in the polar plunge.
That makes sense.
So how do you limit to 500?
We're going to have a sign-up system beforehand. It's not going to be an open event where students can just come down as they please. We're planning on doing merchandise and sponsorships. So we'll have a set number of attendees before the event actually happens because we'll have to give out sweatshirts and whatnot.
Okay. And what if other students who live a block down the road just show up?
We're planning on cordoning it off with caution tape or something, and then just kind of maintain, make it sound technical, but maintaining our perimeter. We're going to have a designated check-in area, making sure that we're not having other people just kind of coming in and doing it without being, part of the program and paying beforehand and getting their sweatshirts and whatnot.
What are the fees to participate for the students?
Sorry?
Are there fees to participate for the students?
We're still in the process of finding a designer and production company for the apparel. Once we have that nailed down, we'll probably have a set price on attending.
I'm just wondering if they're allowed to put the caution tape, for just like regular residents on the playground during that time.
March 23rd?
Yeah.
Okay, one second.
Yeah.
So back to my question about Penfield.
We have an event there this Sunday, so the building will be ready.
Okay, so we are ready.
So they tell me.
Okay, so now.
People are showing up anywhere.
I know.
Okay,
So,
ask a question.
I don't know if you're here when you mentioned they were going to put some caution tape up to keep it closed to the general public.
I wanted to look to see if Penfield was booked that day, and there is an event at Penfield that day. So honestly, I would be more comfortable with this event at Jennings, but so my recommendation would be not even to consider using Penfield.
Uh-huh.
Nobody's going to want this in their pictures. I apologize.
No.
But if they're having an event,
Regardless of if there being an event or not, is that permitted though? I'm just curious.
we've shut this area
You
down
do that.
for Fairfield U, like Clam Jam
Okay,
is an example of where this is
Okay.
shut down. I mean, this is almost the layout for that.
Okay.
Okay, so we're now focused on Jennings, not too far down the road. Does anyone have any questions?
I'm new to this, but I guess the concern would be, from an outsider point of view, would something getting too big, or based on what's happened at the beach before in the past, or?
Well, and that's a question I'll follow up
Okay,
when
so-
you're done.
Yeah, so, I mean, are all the safety considerations in place in case it gets into an event bigger than we might imagine, or could it get into a bigger event than we would imagine it could be?
I don't suspect too many polar plunges get that large, but, you know, if they're pre-selling, and...
It's a university sanctioned event. It's not like other functions that occur at the beach.
Are there university staff there?
I don't know. In a official
They're not
capacity,
We're giving nods in the background.
That's my
What
support
about
and my boss.
What about the fans? It says there's going to be fans there. How many fans would be in attendance?
We haven't done this before, correct?
Not in the winter. In the past there have been. I don't know, like, as for my 4 years here, I haven't seen it. I think the only one that happened when I was here was that plunge that turned into a swim in May. But, sorry, where did you see stuff about fans?
Right above the plungers in the diagram.
The yellow.
Oh, fans watching behind the line. Oh, wow. If you're going to be on the beach, you're either going to be a volunteer working it, or you would have paid. So everyone will have there won't be like free foot traffic flowing in for it. People are more than welcome to pay and attend and get their sweatshirt. If they don't want to plunge, it's perfectly acceptable, and not a crazy idea to not do that.
So this is a conversation we had with your schoolmates last year. You know, we're all Fairfield residents. I happen to be an alumni of the university, so we do our best to be good neighbors to the local universities. And we ask that the local universities be good neighbors in return.
Of course.
Hasn't necessarily been that way the last couple winters with Fairfield, and so I know you can't do anything about SantaCon, but if we were to allow this, and I see on this diagram we have a couple garbage sections laid out, but we would expect that beach to be cleaner when you leave than when you arrive.
Of course, yeah.
So what, you have 10:30 to 1. What do you do other than plunge?
I have that just as like a kind of general time frame in which it would happen, from setup to breaking it down.
But are there things for people to do, or is it basically when you get there and get organized, there's going to be a plunge and then people will mingle and then disperse?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it's going to be. I imagine once people actually do the plunge, they're not going to be too canny or
So that refreshments area on the picture is not really refreshments?
Beforehand, like I'm sure we'll have water and some hot beverages of some kind, hot cocoa and coffee and whatnot. But yeah, it's not meant to be like people are going to stick around after and linger there for multiple hours. If I had to take a guess, it might be an hour from people showing up to the plunge to people kind of making their way out.
Okay. And there would not be any alcohol allowed?
No.
Plunge with no alcohol.
What people want to do after they leave, that's up to them.
In a couple shots in the car beforehand?
Yeah, exactly.
We don't, nothing on the beach. Anything?
Just one question. In terms of your fundraising, because you only mentioned the machines, but what about the training? I mean, there's no point to the machines if you just out of curiosity.
So we are looking at training. We're looking at CPR training coming onto campus. For the particular units that we're purchasing, they're layman's units. So you take it off the wall, you open it up, it starts talking to you. The voice on it is apparently someone off of Columbo, I learned. I haven't seen enough episodes to recognize it, but it'll talk you through everything from putting the pads on to giving you a quick crash course in CPR, and even giving you a beat to actually follow.
And it won't shock the person if they have a pulse, so it knows that. They're pretty advanced nowadays.
Have you looked into this already? Because I know there's someone came before us, and he's secured a number of them now, right? I don't remember his name.
Yeah, I think his name was Andrew also.
Andrew, yeah.
Yeah, high school kid.
From Ward, but he's probably in college now.
Yeah.
18.
But I know he was supported by Hartford Health, I think it was, who donated money. So he had moved forward with a local company and was able to secure a few.
There is our prospective supplier is right in town by, like right next to like Quattro Palace in that area.
Oh, yeah, behind Rite Aid.
Sorry?
Yeah, they're right behind Rite Aid.
that building there.
I met with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob Vanderbeest. Yes, Vanderbeest.
Maybe just one last comment, and as you can see from the questions we're asking, every event that we approve for the universities impacts the other events that we would approve for the university. So as long as, and that's what we're really asking, is that the university take responsibility to make sure that it doesn't get out of hand, and they're not our students, and you have control over them as best as possible. So just to make sure they understand that we expect it to go off fine, but it does have the potential of impacting other. And we love being good neighbors, and we plan to be so.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll make sure the beaches follow.
Nothing else? Someone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I will second.
Any other questions? I'm only going to ask the public, since you're all connected. That motion, all those in favor? Opposed? No? All right. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Rules changes, Galen on, or are you going to present?
I don't know. I know she's not on, so.
I'm in for that.
Oh, okay. All right, so next up, we have the request from the Rules Committee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. To approve the suggested rule modifications for Rules 47 and 50. I'm sorry, it was just the email here. I thought she was handling it.
Nope,
Okay.
it's fine. So these two rules were already approved by the Rules Subcommittee, legal, and internally, and they were just omitted from all the way back in April of last year from the meeting. So I'll read off Section 47, the current rule states fees for functions listed in Section 37 will require payment at the time the reservation is made. And the proposed new rule is fees for functions listed in Section 37 will require a 50% non-refundable deposit at the time the reservation is made. The remainder of the balance is due 2 weeks prior to permit start date. Okay?
Yep.
Section 50, which sounds like it's a typo. It currently says requests for the use of town fields not made via phone 203-256-3191 or email recsupport@fairfieldpt.org. Checks should be made payable to the Fairfield Parks and Recreation Department. The proposed rule is requests for the use of town fields should be made via phone 203-256-3191 or email recsupport@fairfieldpt.org. Checks should be made payable to the Fairfield Parks and Recreation Department.
Any questions? Motion?
Make a motion.
Yeah, I can second. I was there.
All right. Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor? All right. Okay. How about Dylan with the Parkapalooza?
I haven't heard from him. He asked me to put it on the agenda.
You know, it's September, so we can
Put it
deal
on
with
next
it.
month.
Either way.
All right. So
Okay.
why don't we just table that and let him present that, so we can get into the fun stuff.
Money.
Fun stuff.
Budget.
All right, budgets. Hopefully we got everybody the right stuff. I'm going to just start with the revenues, which is the first page that everybody should have. Yeah, I don't know that I can see it either, so I apologize.
Maybe black out a
Yeah.
few more.
Exactly.
Just turn it the right way.
Yeah.
So it doesn't come up like this.
I don't scan this stuff in, but I'll talk to the person that does. So Penfield. Penfield is back open full-time as of this Sunday. So we went back to our locker rentals. We'll have seasonal locker rentals. Our best estimate is $25,000. Again, we kept the same fees from the last time we were open. So this is roughly 100 lockers being booked of the 74 that are available. Maybe we'll beat that number, but 25,000 is a pretty good estimate. The concession has to go out to bid because the building has been closed. The last concessionaire that had it, obviously the contract was ended, so this will likely go out to bid in the next couple weeks. Market value prior to the building being closed was around $40,000, so we're, again, estimating that that's what we should be seeing, maybe a little higher. Pavilion rentals, Jackie Durrell, $227. Again, best average, that is a 3-year average, so I typically don't have to explain that when I go to before the Board of Finance. I say that's a 3-year average. Penfield 1, that's our main building, again, being fully open. We're estimating $460,000 is our best estimate based on projected rentals that we have, projected rate increase that you guys approved, I think last meeting or the meeting before. So our revenues look like they're off the chart in this one category at 111%, but it's primarily because the building's open again. Parks and Recreation, this is miscellaneous. These are when we rent out picnic tables, garbage cans, construction horses for block parties and things of that nature. They get categorized into miscellaneous. Swimming and sail lessons, our best estimate was $10,000. Recreation programs, $140,000. We've been pretty consistent with that. There's been years where we've beaten it. This year we were, I think, 3,000 or 5,000 short or something along those lines, but we were right around there. So again, I felt pretty comfortable at the 140 mark.
The summer school?
It's all our programs. That's all. That's everything that we run here, from youth soccer to summer camps to karate lessons to art strokes, all Everything.
That's not a net number of like paying.
That is the net number. So this is this is the net number above and beyond. So the way our revolving fund works, we have the town gave us $200,000 startup fund just to fund our program. So anything over that $200,000 mark every October 1st gets swept back to the general fund. So what we're saying here with this 140 was we're going to be 140 above the 200 mark. If we end up being over, it comes in at 150, they take all 150. If it comes in at 130, they're getting 130, and then they're asking me, hey, why were you short 10? But that's how that works there.
Okay.
Tennis concession, that is the Fairfield tennis bubble, the indoor tennis. Again, that we've just recently voted on keeping the bubble up year-round for them. So again, that's a long-term contract, so that goes up every year. Burr Mansion, those are all the events and weddings that take place there. Again, we're looking to try to do one a weekend for the April through October season. It's approximately 35, 36 events that'll take place, and we look at about 150,000. That may go up a little because I think they also are increasing their rates, or we might have just approved that, but we're limited with the number of events we can do there. And then field rentals, I believe that says 265, and that's right around the 3-year average. So I think, again, we'll be in that neighborhood, though we continue to approve groups that are now getting an even better rate than they would be when they're paying the field rental. So I assume we'll be around that. Waterfront, these are our beach stickers primarily. That's that first number. We know that we're going to do roughly 35,000 beach stickers each year. We didn't raise the rates this year as a commission, so the resident rate's $25. If you're a senior over 62, it's $10. There are tax-free ones that some residents get. There's the Penfield onlys, and then there's the non-residents that are $250 for the season. We're always roughly around 1,200 of those. So the 952 is a pretty solid guess there for the 3-year average. Beach parking, we're estimating 345, which is, I believe, is the 3-year average. That is all really weather dependent. If we get rained out Memorial Day weekend or 4th of July weekend or Labor Day, we'll never hit the number. It only takes one weekend one of those popular weekends to wipe that number out. But we've been lucky the last several years, so that's what we're going with. And then the beach concession, this is the Jennings Beach concession. That is currently under contract, so we know that number is lower than what we unfortunately had budgeted last year. So,
Question?
Yep.
On beach parking.
Yeah.
So weather dependent, which could really knock that down. If it's a 3-year average, do we know, have there been bad Memorial or July 4th?
There have, but not in the last 3 years. Now the last 3 are here to the left. So you'll see 293 was actually our lowest in 22, and then we did 333 and then 410 last year. And then this year we're on pace to be in the 3-somethings again. So the last really 4 years are really good.
Weather dependent, that can only go down.
Juneteenth was a huge day that everybody had off. That was I think it was the biggest day of the summer last year, which was crazy because we didn't anticipate it. So, and I can't remember if it was like a Wednesday. It was like in the middle of the week where we just weren't anticipating because we all had to work. So it wasn't something that was really on our radar that, hey, this is going to be like such a popular day at the beach. And obviously the nice weather that day also helped, but we were short-staffed and like calling people in, parking attendants being like, hey, we've got a line here and we need to get people in. So
Anything with the gate?
The gate at Jennings is installed and the gates at Sasco are installed.
For parking?
Yep. And believe it or not, the Jennings one has been in now, we're probably close to 5 or 6 months, and it's only been hit once, and it was by a guy on a bike. It wasn't even a car. So
that reads the sticker?
No. Nope. So they're on timers. So the entrance opens up at 5 a.m., and it closes at 8 p.m. in the off season. So you can't get in after 8 p.m. The exit is always down, and it's on a free loop. So if you pull up to it, it'll go up. When our attendants are on, typically they'll put both gates. They'll make sure both gates are up so people aren't really slowing down. But once they're off, it keeps people out. But it has nothing to do.
It's not a collection gate. It's a just keep people out at night gate.
Yep.
Okay.
And so far the neighbors have loved it, and we're getting rave reviews so far from the Sasko Hill neighbors because theirs went live Friday. And they already are like, you're keeping people out. This is great. So, yeah. Yeah, well, they love it. Marina revenues, we raised the rates for the 25 season, so that affects these numbers. So we went from 600 to 725,000 for the boat dockage fees. Winter storage, again, we went with a 3-year average. Winter and summer storage, 85,000. And then the next three are kayak racks and sailboat racks. We haven't increased the number of racks we have. They all have waiting lists. So again, this is fully maxed out. You know, we're around those numbers every year. Sometimes it's based on timing. If somebody doesn't necessarily pay before the fiscal year, or they pay right after the fiscal year, so there's a little overlap. But those are those numbers. So our revenue numbers, I think we're looking pretty good.
Have there been any complaints from the boaters?
Very few. Very few. I don't know how many voters he had today.
We had 27.
27. So he ended up, today was the deadline for boat renewals. So he ended up, I think, at right around 530 boats registered of the 594. So we're right at about that 60 number that we turn over every year. So I'm sure there'll be a handful that'll come in for an appeal,
next week
but we're pretty much on right where it normally is. For the expense side, that is all the next 5 pages. I'll start with the pavilion one. I'll go through these a little faster. Yeah.
Can I ask, you have in here a 2025 year-to-date actual as of when? Is that as of the same
This was
on the bottom of the
yeah. This must have been printed on January 6th. Yep, that's when finance did these. So some of those actual numbers have definitely changed since these were printed.
But that makes sense because some of the actual numbers
and that's the current budget we're
close to 50%. So that would make sense.
Some. There's others that are completely seasonal. So yeah.
I understand. I'm talking about the ones that should not be easily impacting.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, so I'll go through these a little quicker. So Penfield Pavilion's the first one. It says Penfield at the top, Penfield Complex. Again, this building is reopening. So obviously these prices are jumping. For your part-time payroll, again, these are the people that work all the events. So we had to add those people back in. Seasonal, we had to add back in locker maintenance people, and parking attendants for Penfield. So again, that's why you see payroll numbers going up. Utility prices have to go up because we've got the new building, or the pavilion building, open again. Cleaning and janitorial, and then special department supplies, both of those also go up again because, again, the building is reopening. Any questions on Penfield? All right. Recreation is the next one. So recreation houses, I think, 9 out of 10 of our full-time employees. So that's the regular payroll line that you see here, which makes up majority of this, the bulk of this account. Other than that, fees and professional services, that additional $10,000 is for the fireworks, I believe. That went out to bid, and the number came in a little higher than what we expected due to the marine services, the barge. That gets a little dicey every year, unfortunately.
That goes up that much every year?
Depends. It doesn't normally jump that much, but for whatever reason, marine services have been very volatile over the last 3 years. And unfortunately, none of the firework companies have been able to really get a handle on that portion because they all outsource it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's where that ends up coming from. The other, nothing else in here really jumps up much. Burr Mansion, the expenses did go up almost $6,000. But again, we're doing more, trying to do a couple more events in there. And that's rec department. Next one.
The big field maintenance is in parks. So.
Parks, and
okay.
We're going to do waterfront next. Get that one. Waterfront is our lifeguard staff. And again, you'll see all the numbers here. We were able to pretty much hold these steady, with exception to the seasonal payroll, and that really is just going up because minimum wage goes up, and we've got a lot of people that are working just about minimum wage. So you get some wage compression with some of the supervisors there. But that's waterfront. Nothing crazy. Parks. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about parks. I'll get into this after, but I'm going to present parks to the bodies this year, but we are no longer overseeing parks and maintenance, the maintenance of parks. We still are responsible for parks and fields, but we are no longer taking the maintenance. So the maintenance part of this $2.5 million budget that we're looking at on this page is going back to Public Works. So the big increases here were I had asked for 4 additional staff members. That makes up a little over $200,000 increase. I've already been told that this is an extremely tough budget year, but if I don't ask for things I know we need, I'm never going to get them, so I at least have to ask for them. But again, with this leaving our department, I'm not very optimistic that this would stay.
DPW a standalone again? Because did it for probably wasn't even a year, was it, that it was reporting?
So it's reported to us since 2021.
Really?
Yeah.
That long?
It's been that long. And now it's going back.
Okay. Going back
to Public Works. And it'll report, Public Works is going to report to the Chief Operating Officer, David Becker, and his group. So they've promised me they're going to work closely with us because, again, we're scheduling all the fields and we're the ones that are using them, so we're still going to get all the complaints, and we'll have to figure out how to address them as they come up. But again, the big driver in this one is the 4 extra staff members I asked for, and then the capital outlay, which is machinery, equipment that the guys had asked for. There's a couple different trucks in there that we needed. And then the last budget that I have is the marina budget. And again, you'll see in this one, there's not much increasing here. Regular payroll did go up because I think the only staff person that's in this one is the marina coordinator, and I believe either they just had a contract settlement or he had a step increase, but it's contractual. And then the $20,000 in the capital outlay line is for a marina software. They've been using, for lack of a better term, like an Excel document to track where the boats are, and that's how they've done it for forever. Our current software can accommodate tracking, but it's not a marine software. So it's kind of like what we do with the beach stickers, where it's not necessarily, it would work, but it's not necessarily ideal. So
when you say where the boats are, which slips they're in?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like right now, that's
not a tracking mechanism when they go out.
No. Like where they physically, like if you're slipped, on IDOC, 16, he's got that on like a handwritten map. So not ideal. So yeah. So anyway, those are the budgets that I've proposed, I do fully expect these to change. Like I said, we have been told that this is going to be an extremely tough budget year. Budget meetings start Monday with the Board of Selectmen.
I think he proposes it Friday.
So I believe he'll release his budgets Friday. But we have not been told, as department heads, if there's going to be any changes. But I'm just assuming there will be, and I'm going to find out when the budget's released.
Do you put together a consolidated report that combines the revenue with
We do.
the expenses? Okay, but not for us.
We don't. I normally do it for the Board of Finance during, when do I give that to them? End of year? I think it's an end of year report that I give them at their quarter. I don't think they call it a quarter. Whatever their end of year
With your
meeting is, with all the actuals. Yep. And it shows. It'll end up combining each department. So it'll show, rec by itself, parks by itself, and then it combines them all. It includes golf, and it'll show. We're always in the positive as a collective. We may have, parks is obviously there's no revenue that comes in for parks. That's always one that's on the negative side. But we bring in enough revenue through all the other stuff that we make more money than we spend, which is not the norm for parks and recreation throughout the state. That is throughout the country, for that matter. But we're very lucky here. We run some good programs. So.
Excellent. Any questions? Okay. This is just an item to hear and act upon, so we need to accept this. So if someone wants to make a motion?
I will.
Jamie? Thank you.
Second.
Okay. Any further questions? Very good. All those in favor? All right.
Thank you.
And then the only other thing, unless anyone has anything for the good of the order, is just a couple of minutes. The Sunday services and the Pink Pledge were approved by the director. And remind me, it's 3 years, right?
It's 3 years.
So what about the dog?
I thought you said because of the amount of people in the proximity you want.
We got to tighten up these rules.
I asked it with the 45 years. I didn't want to ask it with the 4.
Somewhere in between, you don't have to come.
Yeah, we definitely need to put a couple bits of criteria on that.
Yes.
Anything else?
Written in the rules and regulations, or is that just like a?
No,
No, it's not.
it's not. I don't want to say it's an unwritten rule because it's a rule that not all of you, not some of you might not have been here, but the commission has voted on.
Okay.
It just somehow hasn't been codified into
Okay.
the rules.
Okay, so that's something else.
Oh, there may be a couple of.
Yeah, there's a few others.
Yeah.
Do we have a charter?
As well.
Could that be like in the
Why
charter?
don't we, if we're good, we'll adjourn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do they And I have one more. I got 2 more things I need to talk about.
Jen, forgive me. This has been a Parks and Rec day, let me tell you.
I can only imagine. All right, so just a couple of things to report. First of all, unfortunate, hot off the presses, board got an email tonight that the Ward turf field is now closed indefinitely. There has been a fallen light tower.
Check this
and
out.
The
Check this out.
football field.
Yeah.
The traditional football
Oh,
field.
look at this.
Whoa.
Oh, that was Sunday night?
When did it fall?
Had to be Sunday, we had 70-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah,
Oh my
so-
God.
So until they can get a structural engineer there to assess the other 3 towers and obviously get this fixed, Ward turf field is closed.
Oh,
Better winter, maybe
Yeah.
they'll. I mean, obviously the track and field's been probably running out there, but not now.
When does,
When frost starts, probably,
I haven't even seen this picture.
yeah,
right, March.
Crazy.
the spring
I saw the email
season
come through.
Must have
practice
been nice.
must start pretty soon.
The whole light structure break.
Yeah.
So, as information to Parks and Rec, so who knows when, no time frame. Literally, we just got the email at 5 o'clock tonight. So that's one bit of news. Secondly, just to reiterate what Anthony just said, we went through January as our big budget month of ripping apart, vetting. We have our presentation at the beginning of January. We have 2 special meetings of Q&A on the budget, and then we have budget deliberations and our vote. The usual contention, because we are coming in, the original superintendent's budget was with a 6.45% budget increase, which is the highest in my working memory of town of Fairfield. There was a conversation with leadership and the First Selectman's office on, while no mandate was given, to please work to reduce. So we went into our deliberations with the intention of reducing and ended up raising it $500,000. A lot of story behind that, but that was the final budget that was approved by a 6-3 vote. So now we are, as Anthony is, we're waiting to see what the First Selectman's budget is that comes out, which will then be deliberated on and voted on by the Board of Selectmen, and then Board of Finance, then RTM. Then it goes back to the Board of Ed for what we're going to do with it. And if we are getting the budget that we think we are, again, there's a lot to take place. We could be possibly looking at a multi-million-dollar cut. So this is something that is going to cross everything in the district. Maybe we won't. I don't think so, because we are getting, the signaling has been universal and early that this is a tight budget year because of no grand list expansion. So one of the first things we've already started talking about, if you care about this, is the increasing the transportation distances for elementary school and middle school. So that would save us. Initial calculation was about $760,000, I think. If we do that, obviously lots of downside to that, but we're just going to be having conversations. I would assume as soon as the First Selectman's budget comes out, we're going to start having conversations of how are we going to do this, because normally we discuss at one meeting in May and then vote and make amendments at the next, and I don't think that's going to cut it for this. I think we're going to have to add at least one special meeting.
What does that mean?
What does what mean?
The transportation.
So right now, the current distance to qualify for a bus, if you live
So that means more walkers.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Or parents. Okay.
Drivers.
Correct.
Is it 1 mile?
It is currently elementary school 3/4 of a mile. The recommendation was to move it to 1 mile. For middle school, it's currently, I think, 1 mile or 1 1/4. It's 1 mile, and that's going to 1 1/2. No change to high school. So that's one way we could meet. I don't think we're going to follow through with that unless there's the budget cut, which we are anticipating. So the working group is, I believe, has finally retained its consultant. So the work is moving ahead with Dwight in terms of really doing a comprehensive site analysis up there to see what we can or can't do. The board approved the roof projects at McKinley, Stratfield, and Tomlinson, which I'm sure Anthony already knows. So those are definitely sites that will be out of commission. And then finally, on Tuesday the 25th, we'll be having a town hall, which is basically an open invitation for anybody with anything regarding finances, facilities, and programs that they want to come and have. Unlike public comment where they talk at us, this will be back and forth. So depending on what the budget comes out as, I'm really hoping people show up at this, because otherwise there are going to be a lot of surprise people in September, and that's not our goal at all, but ultimately people have to be paying attention.
Where are you hosting the town hall?
Right just in the Board of Ed conference room. I can only hope that we would regret not getting a bigger venue, but right now I don't think we'd get a bigger venue until we started dropping specifics, and we haven't done that yet. Mm-hmm. So that's my report.
Thank you. Apologies.
I have 2 things. Let me start with this one. After asking for this for like a year, we finally have something for you to look at.
Oh.
So it is feasible to fit a second softball field up at Doogie Yellow.
Okay, this Doogie Yellow.
That's what we're looking at. So the current one, obviously, you're in the parking lot where Brian is. This one would be in left center field. But there's just enough property up there it would need some grading and things of that nature, but it can fit as a concept.
Wow.
So we, as some of you probably remember, we are carrying Doogie Yellow on our master plan and on our waterfall chart, I think for like 2029. So it's still a couple of years out, but it does show we have this a long time in the works, but they show a nice little path in there from the driveway, new concession building, I think with bathrooms, between the two fields. And this would be next to the right, to Brian's right. That's where the new short-range area is going for the golf course.
Oh, in here?
Yeah.
Down here?
Nope.
Okay.
They wouldn't let us put it down there, so they started clearing the land in there already. So there will be nets between the softball field and that driving range area, just like there's a net there already between the driving range and that area. So
Where was the ice rink supposed to be?
in the front field, down where Brian's hand is.
So how far back, how far does the short range?
It's about here, I would say.
All the way here?
Yep. It'll have two greens, I think 5 sand traps, something around that.
Are they going to get rid of this sand trap over here?
They will get rid of that one, and that'll go back to conservation. That was kind of the trade-off.
When will this
That's
get
terrible.
developed?
Hopefully this spring.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then,
That's
like I said, the softball field, that would be a few years out, but we are carrying it on our waterfall chart. So
That's great.
So I can say it?
Is that going to be?
if you want to get people riled up, go ahead.
Okay,
You
I
can
don't-
say it.
I don't,
Grass.
Whose house is that?
I don't know. I'm sure they're going to be out opposing
Happy
it.
camper.
That's not a cricker, is it?
No, I don't think so. But they've been building that house for that piece of property for a while.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, so I figured share that now that I actually have it.
Probably hit it all the
Oh,
way up, yeah. You're lefty, right?
I actually hit righty, but it's funny.
My balls go this way.
Oh, there's a fence over there.
Yeah.
So, that's awesome. Great.
And then the second thing that I just want to mention to everybody, it was
stepping stone.
that is not on here, but the same planning group that Jen was just referencing doing the Dwight project is working on the Giant Steps property as well. I knew what you meant. And then they're looking at the Turner Center. That's the Army Reserves. I mean, that's a whole nother one that same group is working on at the moment.
Doesn't that need to be?
It does.
And what are they looking at that for? Just in general? Starting with the remediation?
So they're testing it right now to see how much remediation needs to be done.
What?
They believe that you guys know I've been here over 20 years, so I've been told every year we're getting that site. Hasn't happened yet, but I'm hearing the same thing. We're getting that site, and it's deeded for recreation only, so it would have to be a recreation center at some point. Again, remediation has to happen. No buildings get put up very quickly, at least in the public sector in this town. So I still would say, even if we had that property tomorrow, you're still several years away. It is on the waterfall chart for like 8 years out, but we're still years away from them getting that.
Remind me, we own the remediation? Or is it a combination with the state, the Army?
The federal.
So the government, the federal government owns the property now, and I think they're responsible for the remediation of the ground. I think we would be responsible for the remediation of the building. Again, I have not been involved in any of those discussions. That's my recollection.
Yeah, it's the Army Corps of Engineers, and the issue was
They were going to transfer
they were
to
going
us
to grant
for
it,
$1.
but they
Yes.
weren't going to give any money to do the remediation.
That's what I thought. If they transferred it to us for $1, does that mean that we own the remediation?
We own the remediation, and then legal fees would be.
Yep.
Yeah.
So anyway, the administration is working on several of those sites right now. And then last night, the other big thing I need to tell everybody is last night at the Board of Finance, the first selectman announced that he was promoting me to a new position. So I will no longer be the Director of Parks and Recreation. I'm going to still oversee Parks and Recreation, but my new title is going to be, I believe, Chief of Community Services. So I'm going to oversee Parks and Recreation, the Senior Center, and Social Services, Human and Social Services. So really excited about this. It's going to be a great opportunity for the town and for me in Parks and Recreation and I think the Senior Social Services. And in the meantime, they're going to likely appoint an interim Parks and Recreation director to fill in my spot, and they would be the ones likely to attend these meetings. Doesn't necessarily mean that I won't be here. Obviously, I'm going to continue to fill this role until they have somebody that they want to sit here. And then, like I said, I'm still going to oversee the department, so I'll still be heavily involved.
Are they looking internal or external?
Internal.
And what is this doing for the oversight of those other capacities? Like the senior center had leadership.
Still does. So they're going to report to me. Yeah. So yeah, over the next few weeks, I'm
There's a new office.
I'm staying right here. I'm going to stay right in this building. Yep. But yeah, I'll be meeting with the other staffs and introducing myself and trying to figure out what's what and where all the overlap is and how we can maybe share resources and things of that nature.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That's all I have. Registration tomorrow. Camp registration. Good luck.
To vote on this?
Yeah. Non-voting item.
Where's the bonfire?
Serve a motion?
Uh,
Hearing none?
Hearing none.
All right, so then we are adjourned.